Coming up on the Greg and Tim Show podcast.
And I'm not doing it because I want to. I'm doing it because I'm told to.
This is part of your shtick.
And every time I would take a photo with somebody,
you're looking at them.
I'm looking at their feet. Do you smile during the photos? No, I'm looking at your feet.
I bet.
And a rep from EA Sports said, I need you guys to sign these conditional waivers.
Were you around during the green drop versus Buzz and Boomer days?
I'm probably one of the reasons why it's not a thing anymore. Mine's meatloaf.
Meatloaf?
Yeah.
Is that your safe word?
Yeah. I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Get your earballs ready. Welcome to the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Take time to sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Here are your hosts, Greg and Tim.
So welcome to the Greg and Tim Show. We are on with Mark Dolphin. You might not know who Mark Dolphin is because this good-looking guy here is not someone you might recognize, but the person that is right... Do you have a picture of?
We'll throw a picture of him right now.
Picture it to the left is Mickey Mouse, and
Right.
he has played Mickey Mouse, and he has been the mascot for the Jets and the Moose for the last 17 years.
Correct.
And that is coming to a sad end.
This is your first off season.
This is my first offseason
Of retirement.
Years. Yeah. So the last official game was the last regular home season game of the 2023-2024 season. And then the playoffs were just bonus for me. Just kind of like take it all in.
Yeah.
Right?
So
it's good.
because we know Mickey Mouse,
Yeah.
being fans of the team, but
He
we
doesn't
don't know.
talk much though.
we-
Mickey Mouse is very quiet.
Okay, does he sound like Mickey
Mickey
Mouse?
Mouse?
No. Anyway,
He doesn't.
No.
He looks like he'd have a gravelly voice.
okay. What kind of? Okay, before I ask the first couple of questions,
Sure.
what kind of voice would Mickey Mouse have if Mickey Mouse spoke?
Oh,
High pitch, low pitch,
low
medium,
pitch, low pitch.
low pitch.
Yeah.
Eh? I'm Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. What are the ladies like? No,
Like
so,
really gravelly.
Yeah, like there's a character behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
It can't just be. There's a thing with mascots. If you put a guy in a costume or a girl that's going to walk around, it's like Halloween. It's just wearing a costume.
Yeah.
It's the character that makes the role,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
So
So-
the character is a little bit of a ladies' man.
Yeah.
Right. We'll do anything if a kid's in need or needs to cheer up a kid's day.
Yeah.
Right. But when push comes to shove and the other team's hurting,
Yeah.
the other team, like the Jets or the Moose, like he's right in the action. Like he's ready
Yeah.
to roll. Like,
So Mickey Mouse
Throw down, let's go.
Yeah, he's kind of a player.
Yeah.
He's a player.
yeah.
Like
One might think the character replicates the guy in the costume, but that's a whole other story.
well, we're gonna get into that story. That's gonna be part of the
Oh,
story.
shoot.
Do you
Oh,
ever find that because people don't know your face and you're kind of hiding
Yeah.
behind the face of something else, do you find like you get superhero identity a little bit?
Out of costume or in costume?
Well, in costume, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a funny thing. Like there's this story where you give two kids a task to do, even like kids, you give them a task to do, and one is not wearing a cape and the other is wearing a cape. And
Yeah.
what the group that is wearing capes, they will do that task 30% longer and more effective, and they'll take more pride in it. So when I'm in my costume, that's my cape. Like
Yeah.
nothing can get in my way. And I do it to the fullest ability. There's no fear. I do have a fear of heights at sometimes,
Yeah.
but when I'm in my costume, there is zero fear.
When you're running down the stairs, that's one of your signature moves is
Yeah.
to run down the stairs and bang on the glass.
Yeah.
Before
I get in crap for it all the time, or I used to. Every game I get in crap for it. Yeah.
By who? By who?
Operations and like the game day operations and my managers, like my
Yeah.
directors, they would email me. There was one where the video was actually caught on Twitter.
Yeah.
He sent me that clip, said, "Don't do this again," and I just didn't reply. He saw that I saw it.
Just pretend you
I
didn't
just,
get it.
I just kept like, "What are you going to do?" Like,
But that was the Mickey mentality. One of the
yeah,
things,
that's the character.
One of the
right?
things that you used to do that drove me nuts. I sat in section 312, and
Bang the drum?
You used to bring that drum
Oh, I
through
know.
the entrance.
Can we clear the air about the drum? Right off
Okay,
the
let's
hop?
do it.
because the drum
I've
disappeared.
never liked the drum.
The big drum.
The big drum. I don't really handle the big drum, but the handheld one, I
Yeah.
never liked doing it. And people would say, "Stop banging that drum; it's so loud." At one point, I would turn to people and go, "Like it's right next to my head the whole game. Like the whole game, I have to bang." Like, and I'm not doing it because I want to. I'm doing it because I'm told to.
This is part
like
of your
like,
shtick.
and there's a guy in the booth. I won't say names today.
No.
You get rhyme names.
Yeah. Mile Balbari. He more drum. But he's up top, so he can't hear. He
Yeah.
can't hear the drum being banged all the time. So he thinks that we haven't done it. So he's saying more. Like, we just did it. He's like, more. okay, so I'm constantly banging this thing. I never liked the
He's
drum.
the
And I
what about-
apologize in advance to anybody who experienced
What about the
drum.
garbage can?
That was improv.
Okay.
That was straight improv. That was during playoffs.
Have you ever seen the garbage can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
You
was
used to bring the garbage
I
can.
would bring
and
the garbage can out because it had like a hinge on it, and I did it one game walking by. I lifted the lid and I just dropped it, and it made a really long bang. And then we go into playoffs, and I didn't have a drum, but the crowd just like they were into it, but they just weren't that into it. So
Yeah.
I grabbed the drum, I wheeled it out in front of everybody into the foyer,
Yep.
and I just started banging it in that section at the 300 section.
Yeah.
Where it became a thing, and they actually made a drum for me on wheels. They painted it, but we never got to it because there were a couple complaints about like biohazard and like it's garbage.
Yeah.
Which I totally get it.
Yeah.
So we stopped doing it.
So the more drum guys, like the more cowbell guy. From
Yeah,
SNL.
yeah, exactly.
More
Yeah, he's the
drum,
Christopher
more
Walken.
drum. I
Yeah,
did the
baby,
drum.
I need more cowbell. Yeah, exactly.
Like the drum would drive me nuts because
Yeah.
like I was close to the aisle and I was second row. So when you held that drum,
Yeah,
it was my level. It wasn't the
Right.
lower level. And I remember back in the Moose days, you used to do that, but you would do it in the upper deck,
upper deck,
and nobody else was up there.
Nobody was, that's
Right.
That's
So
right.
once you started doing it when the Jets came around, it started becoming like, why is he doing this right in my ear?
And that was like day one when the Jets came back. We have to get the crowd into it. And other mascots are using drums.
Yeah.
And I would
I don't think year one there was much issue getting the crowd into it, but that's just me.
no, that's the thing. Like let the character. Like I always felt that like, it says a lot about a drum, but I felt like the drum was almost too forced.
Yeah.
Right, like let's get it like an organic vibe going, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the most fun, and that's where playoffs, like that's where the energy came from. It wasn't the drum;
Yeah.
it was the atmosphere.
Like back
For
in the
sure.
day when Buzz and Boomer used to have the D and the fence.
Yeah.
Right? That just got the crowd up.
That's me as well, by the way.
As Buzz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually
We
know
get that.
Boomer.
yeah. James.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
James was in my wedding party.
Oh, okay.
James and I go way
Did you
back.
guys dress up as mascots for the wedding?
We did not.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
But we have crashed weddings as Buzz and Boomer lots of times. We were
Have
actually
you?
part of the wedding party at a wedding.
as
on
Buzz and
field
Boomer.
As Buzz and Boomer. Yeah, we were the groomsmen. Official groomsmen.
So you're Buzz?
Yes.
Oh,
One up.
Can we
have-
say that?
Yeah, we have a group of guys.
Because there's a few of you.
There's
right?
a few of us.
I'm
that
in
go in
total
rotation.
shock right now.
Yeah, so
Up is down,
I
down
did
is up.
Well,
did
James
the-
is much taller than you.
I did the game last week. This was on field. Well, I turned my phone off last week. Yeah, I worked the game. Is on field stuff. It's great.
Well, we'll get the pictures up here.
you get the
Yeah,
photos,
we'll
yeah,
throw the picture up.
Yeah.
sure.
So you haven't fully retired then?
No, I've just stepped away from the Jets, and I work with the Bombers now.
Yeah.
And like training the next generation of characters because I'm aging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're still as energetic as possible during
Yeah.
the game. So I think you're just
There will
trying,
be a time. There will be a time.
you're trying to do the whole like get out on top,
Yeah.
right?
It's all downhill from at some point, but
Or
I want to get. I
downstairs.
want to get out. I want to get out before then. Yeah.
So, but you're in a costume. Are you saying that age is you still have to get around? That's a young man's game, mascotting.
It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
A whole
A
night.
bomber game, I'll lose. We do halves, so
Okay.
2 guys do first half, 2 guys do second half. But for a Jets game, I'll do a full Jets game from time doors open even beforehand. If like corporate wants me to do visits at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, I'm not done till the game ends. It could be 10, 10:30.
Are you the only one that's done it?
For the Jets, I was the only guy for the 17 years, but we hired someone to do Moose games.
Okay.
So I did all Jets games. In that time, I missed 3 regular season games.
Oh, wow.
3 games in 17,
years.
Yeah, one was for a work trip, one was for a funeral, one was for a wedding.
Were you dressed up as Mickey Mouse as well?
No, no,
At the
no,
funeral?
no,
No, at the wedding.
no. I don't think my mom would have liked that. But no, yeah, it was a good time.
That's a funny.
So
skit.
17 years, only missing 3
Yeah.
is pretty good because, as you said, there's 4 guys,
Mhm.
and I think there's even more that do
There's-
Buzz and Boomer, right?
There's 6 to 8 of us in rotation at games for Bombers.
Yeah,
And that's what it takes. Like it's a lot of commitment between the parades, community events, the games.
yeah. So
for-
you said somebody else is doing the Moose games. Did you have to teach him mannerisms?
Yeah, he had to follow me around for a while.
Okay.
A couple times they would be part of our game day production crew. That they just kind of organically got to know my mannerisms.
Yeah.
Or followed me around or handled me a few games. So
Yeah.
by handles, I mean just follow me around and make sure you're my eyes and ears,
Yeah,
right?
because your mannerisms are even on games like NHL
Yes.
2024. and
Yeah,
stuff like
that's that. My kids love that.
that. Do they?
My kids love that because they get the games for free. I get a code
Okay.
from EA Sports, so we get the virtual games to download.
Yeah.
Still, it's great. But that was a huge thing when we were in can I tell the story?
Yeah, 100%.
When we were in LA, we were in this room, our dressing room, and a rep from EA Sports said, "I need you guys to sign these conditional waivers, and then I need you to line up outside this room when you're done in full costume." So nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
So every time, and being Winnipeg, I'm one of the last ones, so like alphabetically.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing all these guys go in and out, and they're coming out like giggling, like little schoolgirls. Like these girls. By the way, my age is like an average age for NHL mascot. We're like in our mid 30s, some 40s, some guys are in their 60s. Youppi's in his like late 60s. He's the original Youppi from the Expos.
No way.
He's like my idol. So yeah. So they're all lining up. They're coming out giggling, and it's my turn, and they're like, "You're going to love this," because I'm a hockey guy. Like a lot of these NHL, they can't play, these mascots, they can't play hockey. They're not in it for the sport. They're in it for the job, right?
Yeah.
The marketing side of it. That's their background. So I walk in and they go, "Okay, we're going to get you to wear your gear, put your head on. Here's a hockey stick. We're going to glue some of these little white balls on you, and we want you to do what you would do at a game." And I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And like stick handling, celebrations, like the trademark moves.
Yeah.
I walked out like a little schoolgirl knowing that what's going to happen, right? And I couldn't tell anybody until the game was released. And I got to tell my kids, like, that's actually your dad. Stick handling the puck, scoring goals. Like those I had to do those.
Yeah, because in the one part of the game, you can play as mascots. You can unlock.
Yeah.
So did you get your mascot automatically unlocked?
Me? No, they had to play the game. My kids had to play the game
to
to unlock it just like everybody else. But I think I had like an 86 or 88 ranking. So
was that the highest for mascots?
I don't think so. I think they fabricated a couple because they
Gritty
couldn't.
got the top spot,
Of
paid some
course,
money.
right? There's
Gritty.
it's a business. It's a business.
They're probably going based on like size, based on slenderness, right?
Yeah,
like
right.
Youppi's not going to be the fastest one out there.
No.
Like some of these bigger mascots aren't going to be the fastest one, but maybe the Hound, Harvey the Hound.
Harvey, he's a gem. He can play hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he can play hockey. There's a few like of the American mascots. They can really play too, like Colorado.
Yeah.
If you ever watch the NHL mascot games, like Colorado, Phoenix, the original guy that was Phoenix,
The Coyote.
Move. Yeah, they can move, right?
Yeah, and when you have a mascot outfit, so one of the things that I remember from way back in the day was you guys used to do a mascot race at the Assiniboia Downs.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys still do that, right?
No, it was usually like Canada Day, and that was a long day. So I would do like 5 hours as Mickey.
Yeah.
At Assiniboine Park it was Canadians that was always sponsoring it. So I do 5 hours in like plus 30 heat.
Oh no!
They would throw me in. They would throw me in a vehicle, usher me to the Assiniboine Downs.
Yeah.
Literally, there was one day where I was getting out of the truck, put my head on, and I was being walked out to do the race.
Yeah.
So 5 hours, quickly go out, run the race, do photos. I'm gassed.
And it wasn't a short race.
Wasn't a short race. And then back down, take a sip of water, back in the truck, back to Assiniboine Park.
So it's like a triathlon.
Yeah.
Biking,
that's what I mean.
swimming,
It
running.
takes a lot out of you. Games, events, walking a parade in Gimli, plus 35 outside.
But you did that race.
Zumba, yeah.
And you won when I was there.
Yeah.
Because all the other mascots, let's be honest, they're costumes that aren't as easy to run in.
Right.
For the most part, like Goldie, look at how big his costume is, right? And Buzz and Boomer aren't moving as quickly. Even if you were in the Buzz costume, you'd be moving slower than the Mickey costume, right?
Well, they caught on after a few years. Like it's becoming a bit of a spectacle, and for like a local business to get their mascot in there, if they won, they would kind of get a little bit of a praise. So they were finding kids that could do like track, and like putting them in to wear their costume for the races. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. They never won though.
Usain Bolt.
They can't.
They can't. Usain Bolt. Yeah.
They can't beat Mickey Mouse though. He's just so like.
Yeah. Right.
He's sleek. Right.
He's sleek.
Built for speed.
Not that sleek.
I just talked my way to the finish line.
Other than the head's not built for speed.
No.
Okay. So let's talk to Clark Kent for a bit here.
Okay. The running joke is Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. But my friend Sheldon Chapko and I, we have a running joke. No superpowers. His financial background, which I don't really have, but wears a suit during the day and a costume at night.
So you wear a suit during the day and a costume at night?
Yeah, for work.
So you are Bruce Wayne.
A very poor Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So
is that a call for your work?
No. My work takes care of me. I'm well compensated there now.
So outside of being a mascot for sports teams
Mm-hmm.
and outside of the work you do during the day,
Mm-hmm.
who is Mark Dolphin?
Well, like family comes first. I have 2 boys, 10 and 12 now.
Okay.
And I have a girlfriend who's like the most amazing partner, super supportive. One of the reasons I'm walking away from the Jets too is because I want to reshift my focus. The only time that only people that are gonna remember that you missed things is your kids, right?
Yeah.
So family comes first, and it took me a while to figure that out, but that's family guy number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 10 and 12.
Yeah, 10, 12, and she has 3, 14, a son 14, a daughter 10, and a daughter 5.
And both yours are boys?
Yes.
So 10 and 12
Yes,
for boys.
we have a blended family of 5.
Wow.
And it's
You're
a
the
lot of
Brady
work.
Bunch.
Basically.
Yeah. Are they into hockey,
Yeah.
the 10 and 12-year-old?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, the 10-year-old. So my boys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They were on treadmill this morning, the skating treadmill this morning.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So they're big into hockey then, if they're doing skating treadmills in the morning.
Yeah, well, I'll present the opportunity for them. Like I'll always support whatever they want to do, mine or hers. I'll present the opportunity if they want to take advantage of it. Absolutely, I'll never say no.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is something we don't know about you that, like, let's say your friends all know you as what you are, family man, Mickey Moose, your job and all that kind of stuff. What's a hidden talent, something that we don't know about you?
Jeez. I don't know if it's hidden anymore, but it answers a lot of like who I am as a person, and like ADHD is a real thing.
Okay.
So I'm really getting in touch with that because I'm seeing my kids. I'm like, why are you doing this? I'm like, I do the same thing. So for me to manage that and I see it through my girlfriend. She's got the same thing, and my kids have it. Obviously, it's inherited.
Yep.
So just identifying who I really am. I'm really figuring out who I am still. Like I'm still figuring out, who I want to be when I grow up. Right? Like
we all are.
It's still the same thing. I don't really know, but hopefully one day I'll be able to answer that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And outside of working as a mascot, you said you're poor, so I guess
No, I'm not poor. You're compared to Bruce Wayne, of course. Yeah. Right.
Does he have a lot of money? Yeah,
fictitious.
Wayne Enterprises. He
Right.
does have a lot of money.
Right.
So outside, can you make a decent amount of money as a mascot?
You can, for sure, you can if you're in the right market.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing is
Like
finding.
UP's been doing it for 60 years. So.
Yeah. But I mean, feel it like and having the team and support from the club, that's a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Sending you out to the right events, giving you that creative freedom to pursue and market yourself. There are opportunities where we probably could have jumped on with the Jets, but we're not we. I can't say we anymore. It's they. I found we're very conservative and wanted to stay on a very strict line. And I totally respect that from a club's perspective because we're only we're 14 years in now. Yeah. 13 years in.
2011 was 13 years.
Yeah, like we're still an infant club.
Yeah.
Building a franchise, building a fan base, right? Where there was one time where we're playing against Chicago, and I have this idea where I'm going to dump one of these huge, big, clear garbage bags full of popcorn at the end of the night, close to the end of the game. And I've got 2 friends in the crowd that are wearing Chicago Blackhawks jerseys.
Yeah.
And I said to them walking by, I do talk every now and then in costume, like, can I dump popcorn on you? And they're like, yeah, please do.
Yeah.
So I was going to dump this huge bag of I had the camera guys lined up, like it was all figured out.
Yeah.
But the same guy that from upstairs, Mile Mulberry, like he caught wind and on the radio, he was like, "Don't you do it? Don't you do it?" I'm like,
he doesn't want to ruin the image.
This is going to be so funny, and we're like, it's fun, right?
Yeah.
And so I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling this story to a bunch of guys at All Star because I go to All Star, and one of the guys, I think it was the guy from Chicago. I think the guy that plays Tommy Hawk. He's like, "Are you serious? I do that. I get paid. To do that at games.
Yeah,
where I get sponsored by Colonel's Popcorn to dump a huge bag of popcorn on this these seats every single game, and they pay me a boatload of money. Like, well, how did I miss the boat? Really? So
yeah, to get the sponsorship and stuff
it's
like
all
that,
support, support, market. It's a lot of different.
Well, they
things.
have that mascot in Chicago rip the helmet off that Jets defenseman, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
if that was a
party.
mascot.
It was yeah. It was a,
I mean, he wasn't a mascot. He was a drunk guy.
He was a drunk guy. Same thing.
Very that party helmet thing could have been done. Like, nothing against the Jets. I know the Jets have a lot of.
Yeah.
They have to keep up an image.
Yeah,
right.
There's a lot of respect between the clubs too, right?
There's
Especially
a corporate
Chicago.
image, but there was such an opportunity to bring in some paper helmets.
Yeah.
Give them all out to everybody, where they put on these paper helmets for the whole game to make fun of the situation, right?
Yeah.
But
You can't tell us all your stories about the Jets because when the book comes out that you're writing,
There's no book.
There's no
there's no book.
There's no book. I have not been approached. If someone wants to, absolutely.
Well, we're approaching you. Let's write the book with Mark.
You guys get first dibs.
I think the book would be fantastic. 17 years as a mascot.
Yeah.
You could write. I think you could write a whole bunch of stories. We have the second book in there is Kurt Kielbeck's book, and he just writes stories about, like, they're just short stories about experiences he had.
Oh, I could. Yeah,
you could write a book probably twice as big as that, just about your stories.
Like, I do have some stories, that's for sure.
Let's work on that.
Yeah.
So
put them on pen to paper, man. Let's do it. I'm up for it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. So juggling your life with your job, with mascotting, with family, and I know you're saying you're making some switches because you maybe are out of balance a little bit in that.
Yeah.
How have you been able to, for this amount of years, kind of balance everything out?
Support and total burnout, really. Like, I've got a great partner who's always been supportive. My family's always been there. If, like, during a separation and my divorce, I needed someone to watch my kids, 50-50 custody. My dad would take the kids a couple days. He'd be at my house watching kids while I'm at games late at night. I live out of town in St. Anne, so it's not easy to make those arrangements, but they've always been supportive. And, like, my family's my biggest fan.
Yeah.
So when I'm at family reunions and stuff like that, or family gatherings, they're so supportive.
So big assists coming in from the family then.
Yeah.
You're scoring the goals. They've got all the assists.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And like time management, right? I've got a pretty important job during the day to navigate that. Plus, I've got great support from my employer.
Yeah.
Who's really big into community. So if I need to be at a community function, they understand, right? It's not about what you take out of the community. It's about what you give back.
Has your employer had you come out to one of their events?
We have not. We were actually just talking about that today, that we never actually took advantage of it.
Yeah. The fact that you had both opportunities together, right?
Yeah. Well, who's going to pay me, right? I can't double dip.
They have to pay both of you.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you
two
get
separate
double
entities.
paychecks.
Yeah, I can't do that.
So what initially drew you to become a mascot?
It was a total joke, total fluke.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to be a mascot. I was going into UW to take kinesiology. I wanted to be in sports medicine. Totally not where my future took me. I needed a part-time job while going to school, and I happened to be coaching a minor hockey team who one of the mothers was the manager of the bookstore at U of W.
Okay.
So she said, come on down. I'll hire you. Like, I'll give you a job. I know your schedule, right? You're coaching my kid. The least I could do is give you a job. So I show up, and her name was Sarah Kay, amazing lady. And I show up at the store in between classes, and she says, I can't hire you. I don't have the budget, but I connected you with, his name's Tom Nichols, and he was one of the directors at the Duckworth Center.
Okay.
So I met with him in between classes, and he said, you're going to be in charge of like the tear down, takedown, and setup of like the volleyball, basketball bleachers, the scoreboard, the chairs for all the teams.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Did that a few times. And then they saw I was a bit of a character, and
they saw your ADHD.
Yeah, they saw my ADHD. They saw the potential in my ADHD.
Yeah.
And they gave me a red domo jumpsuit, sunglasses, and a toque. And you're going to be the handler for the mascot, who was this 40-year-old, and I jokingly say it now because I'm over 40, was a 40-year-old mascot, this old guy who just stood there banging a drum and really didn't do much.
Yeah.
Always the drum.
Always the drum, right? He's like who I am today.
Full circle.
I totally get it now. So I would just follow him around, and we would set up the games with the kids, the giveaways, all that stuff, hanging out with the cheerleaders. Pretty fun gig when I'm 21, 22 years old.
Yeah.
Long story short, he called in sick to work one day. My boss basically gave me the costume and said, you're doing this? And I didn't want to. I was super afraid.
Yeah.
Super scared. And I just did it. I put
Yeah.
it on. I started breakdancing at center court during the women's warm up, and I got pulled over to the side. The crowd's going nuts. Now, this is the Duckworth Classic.
Yeah.
It was U of M playing against U of W.
yeah.
Huge rival, sold out crowd
Yeah.
at the Duckworth.
And the guy
That's
called
the
in sick.
game that they're going to throw me in.
Yeah.
I got the crowd right into it, competing on either side. Who's the loudest? And I had fun.
Yeah.
And they said, you're our new guy.
Yeah.
Like right
The other
there,
guy was
you're,
gone.
You're our new guy. And I did. Like,
He calls in
I-
sick once.
here's the thing is, if you give
Well, he
me
was drunk. He
Yeah.
wasn't sick.
anytime you give me an opportunity, I'm going to jump on it, right? So, and I just kind of took with it. So I started the year with dancing around the cheerleaders. By the end of the season, I was the focus at halftime, and then the cheerleaders would dance around.
So your fate was
It was written in stone.
written in stone.
Yeah.
And
Got
you
a-
followed your path.
Yeah. Then I got a call from the Manitoba Moose. They said, we want to invite you to a closed audition. We heard about you.
We've heard about you.
We've kind of found out
Your
about you,
legend
and somehow,
has been
which
sent
was
out.
which was super funny because I was out with friends like a weekend before, and I'm like, I'm gonna be the mascot for the Manitoba Moose. Just wait, I'm gonna do it. I'm making a run for it. And I get the call a week later, and I think it's one of my friends playing a joke on me.
Yeah.
So I take the call. My mom's like, "Hey, there's a phone call for you." I take the call, listen to him, like, "Yeah, okay, thanks, bye." And I hung up the phone. Thought they were joking. They call back. My mom answers the phone again. She runs downstairs and goes, "You should probably talk to these guys. I think, like, why did you lose connection?" I'm like, "That's my friends playing a joke on me. It's not."
Because they know you're the
I said it a
mascot.
week ago. There's no way.
Yeah.
So I speak to this lady on the phone. Sure enough, she's like, "I want you to come to 33 Hargrave, bring a pair of gym clothes, bring your skates." I show up thinking, I'm going to look like a complete fool. I'm here for no reason. I walk to the front desk. I'm like, "Hi, my name's Mark. I'm here to audition for Mickey Moose." They go, "Okay, we've been expecting you." Now I'm nervous because this thing's real.
Because at first you
This
thought it was
thing's
a
real.
joke.
Yeah, this thing's real, right? So I do the audition, super fun. They say, "Okay, you're going to work the game tomorrow night as your live audition." They give me this dressing room that has a star in it, Mickey Moose. They've got everything laid out for me. They got a cooler, which I don't have anymore. It's like the scale down since the Jets game. I get less and less and less.
You have to go to a water
I
fountain now.
go from a dressing room, to literally, not even joking, to a water fountain. And Dave Wheeler walks in, right? Local,
Yeah, because he was
he was the
in-game
in-game
announcer.
announcer. And I'm thinking, wow, this is so cool. He goes, "Just so you know, you have to be ready in 5. We have to be on the back of the truck throwing t-shirts. Like, don't be late." I'm freaking out in this dressing room by myself. I'm nervous. I'm afraid, like, now everything's going through my head. ADHD. Worst cases scenario now,
I
right?
fall
Like,
off the truck.
I'm going to fall off the truck. I'm going to knock him
I'm
off
there
the
in
truck.
6 minutes.
I'm going to throw a t-shirt and my hockey glove's going to fly into the crowd. So, guys, I lost my head on ice my very first game.
Oh no!
It just fell off.
There was a goalie race.
Yeah.
And one of the goalie sticks popped the head up.
Right.
And I popped it back on, but my head wasn't like fitted for me yet. I was
Yeah.
using like a spare.
Yeah.
So I had like towels to make it fit. And when I popped it back down, I literally blindfolded myself and I couldn't see a thing. And I run in, I find the opening of a bench. Anybody who saw this game, they would recognize it for sure. So
I'm pretty sure I was at this game.
I take off into the players' bench, not knowing I'm not supposed to be in the players' bench. I walk into the players' dressing room, and Scott Arneal is doing a like
Giving them
intermission
crap.
speech right now, and I'm walking in there, taking the head off, going, "I'm not supposed to be here." I just take my head and I just walk out underneath the bleachers, no skate guards, not knowing where I am, like on concrete with my skates, and I'm thinking, "That's it, I'm done. I blew it."
First game.
Yeah, they lost me because I don't know where I am now. I have no idea how to
You have
get out
no
of game.
handler?
I'm under the bleachers. No handler. I'm by myself. I find my way back, and they come running over to me, and she's like, "Hey, great recovery." I'm like, "Well, you should probably talk to the coach about that recovery because it's probably not as good as you think it is." They were laughing about it in the dressing room. Like, it wasn't a big thing, but it was. Like, I never heard anything from it after that. But I thought for sure I was done. But I got the job. That was
We're gonna stop.
So, so it's a great story. Thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah.
So my daughter is going into kinesiology year 1,
yeah.
and she needs money
Yeah.
through the course of the year.
Speak to
So,
Tom
Raina,
Nichols.
if you can go to the sports department at your school
Mhm.
and see if they need a mascot for the games, it could be a
Does
good
she-
idea.
Does she have ADHD?
I don't know. Raina, do you have ADHD?
You want to check with Raina first, right? Oh well.
Does everybody that's a mascot have ADHD?
Pretty much. I don't know. I
Pretty
can't speak
much.
for everybody else. I can just speak for myself, but it
You
helps.
just equated that.
Yeah.
She has to have
Yeah.
ADHD.
No, I just asked if she did
I don't know. She doesn't.
because
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Am I oversharing? By the way, I want.
No,
like,
this
am I
is
rambling?
perfect
Am I
sharing.
rambling?
You
I feel like
you
I'm
can never
rambling a bit.
overshare.
You can never overshare.
Okay.
You can undershare,
Okay.
Yeah.
but you can't overshare.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've actually like answered other questions
In the mix, yeah.
by just continuing the
Okay.
story. So we're fantastic. Like one of the next questions was memorable moment from your first game.
Yeah, that would be it.
How did your experience evolve from the U of W to the AHL? So
Yeah.
you're beating us to the
So
punch here right now, which is fine.
Taking a look at you, he looks like a combination of Hugh Jackman
Yeah, right. I
with
wish.
Kevin from church, Kevin Funk.
Kevin Funk and
Do
Hugh
you
Jackman.
see it?
Is
You're
it?
looking at his face. Both, by the way, both very good-looking gentlemen.
I
You
appreciate
said
it.
Ryan
Um,
Reynolds by his picture. earlier.
and then the picture I was saying Ryan Reynolds. So put those three together: Kevin
Okay.
Funk, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds.
That's not a bad mix.
Do you see it?
Not
Do you see it?
she,
Any
she-
of those
she
things
doesn't-
I
she doesn't
mentioned?
see it.
Lorraine?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Maybe put all the pictures together.
Just blend them in. You could do that.
We'll get
you
we'll
have
get a
AI
picture.
could do
I'll
that.
ask Kevin if we could
Yeah.
use his
If-
picture.
If I
Well, you would have to ask.
But
him.
here's the if I showed you pictures of the guys that wear the costumes for the NHL, you could probably pick out what character they are. There's like a funny way that over time people it's like how people become their pets almost.
Yeah.
Characters become their mascot character too.
I get that with you a little bit, but you're
Yeah.
wearing the camo. So
yeah,
you're wearing
like
the
you
green
become you
that the
become
Moose
that,
originally had, which
right? I grew the beard just because Mickey has that beard, right?
yeah has the
Like-
beard.
Like if I showed you the guy that played Gritty,
Yeah.
you'd be yeah, that's for sure.
It's just
Is he a big?
no,
it's Barney Gumbo.
no, it's it's the facial features. NJ Devil, you'll be like that's
Does
exactly.
his ear kind of do? His eyes do.
He's
this?
got some googly eyes. He's got
Googly
some
eye?
no, he's, but like just the way they can, I can't explain it. But if you overlay the face with the character, you'd be able to figure it out.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is.
So when I was 8 years old, and the Winnipeg Jets were here 1.0, I think it was 1986, 87. I'm
Mhm.
sitting in an arena, north end zone, the old arena, and they have this big box that's like a big, huge present. Out comes Benny.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I couldn't figure out for the life of me what Benny was. I have no clue. Is he a rat?
Yeah.
Is he a mouse? Do you
It's a
know?
bear.
Is he a bear? No, you tell me. You're the expert.
Okay, so this is really sad. I didn't know this. So James and I, we've had this conversation about characters. So there's three like pillars of mascot. One is like an animal, right? So I would be an animal.
Yep.
Then there's Muppets. Benny would be a Muppet.
Okay.
And then there's inanimates. We kind of created this on our own. There's
Okay.
inanimates. So that'd be like the Subway sandwich.
Okay,
Right, like
the
the-
green drop.
Green Drop. There would be he's kind of like a mix of Muppet and inanimate. And then there's Winnipeg Free Press. It's just a rolled up newspaper. So
Yeah.
things that don't move but should.
Yeah.
Right. So there's three. So he would be a Muppet.
Okay.
What is he? We don't really know. He's like Grimace. And Grimace is a
I
milkshake, right?
I
Like, we don't-
remember exactly my frame of thought. I just spent the entire practice trying to figure out what he was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what was it like to develop a character that resonated with an entire city and that people like 17 years as that character, and like the city knows that character from its mannerisms, from its movements, from
Yeah.
its drum, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Did you face any difficulties along the way, and what was it like to do that?
Well, you can't please everybody, so there's going to be mixed reviews, right?
Yeah.
Some people like the character, some think it's too much, some people it's not enough, some people think they could do a better job at it. I just did what I thought was right, really. Like
Yeah.
again, going back to the character. If there's a kid, so there's a rule that I've created with training new mascots. When you're giving a child a hug, you never be the first to let go because you don't know how long they need that hug for.
That's a Disney rule.
That's a Disney rule.
Yeah, that's a good
so
rule.
carry that over. You don't know how long they need the hug for, so you don't let go first. You'll know when they're done,
Yeah.
right? And you'll know when they don't want to hug you.
Yeah.
Right? So you very much know. So
danger.
right. Yeah. So like again, being there for a support function for the kids.
Yeah.
And being enthralled and excited about the game that you're the mascot for. You have to be the biggest fan for that team,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, you're paid to do that.
Yeah.
It's part of the job, and giving back to the community, right? That's basically that's it.
It's
Yeah.
it's those
That's it.
little rules that people
the
don't
little
realize.
things.
Like that don't be the first one to disengage on a hug.
Right.
Most people aren't going to know that.
Right.
And it's really true. Were you ever on a hug standoff where nobody let
Yeah,
go?
yeah.
The kid
Yeah,
just
there's a special how do I politically say this correct? A genre of people with disability that they
Love
hug
their
you,
hug.
they hug you hard and they
Yeah.
don't let go. So there's been times where I'm holding on for as long as I can, trying to keep my breath, and not pass out, and just letting them. I just let National Lampoon just let them finish. Like just let them hug, you. So you just stand there and let them hug until they're done, and we're good.
and the great thing is they're doing it out of love.
Yeah,
Like
and
they love
yeah.
the mascot so
That's right.
much,
It's
right?
comes from a great place, like, and you love it. Like you don't, like you're not hurt. It's not hurting anybody,
Yeah.
and they don't know that they're hugging a person. They just hugging something that they love, right?
Yeah.
It's like when a dog sees me, they're iffy. They either love me, they think I'm a huge chew toy, or they do not like me at
Or
all.
they bark at you until they
Yeah, yeah.
You're like
they're
the police dog with a big outfit, right?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Can I tell you a story about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
That's for
so
another
I'm at Seven Oaks. This is dating me. So Seven Oaks, which is funny because the gentleman who was the officer, we reconnected through his wife and my girlfriend are best friends.
Okay.
So we jokingly laugh about this now. His name is Scott. He was a police. He still is a police officer, but he works with the dogs. He's a dog trainer.
Yep.
So we're at Seven Oaks, and I'm doing this event, and he's there doing his community stuff right with the dog. And he comes up to me. He goes, "Never met the guy. You want to try it?" And he's got the sleeve. And I go, "Yeah, I want to try it."
Yeah.
Heck yes. Again, given an opportunity, I will jump on it.
As
And I'm in costume, so I fear nothing.
in costume. Okay.
I fear nothing. Right?
That's what I was gonna-
So I put my arm in the cruiser. He
Yeah.
takes my glove off and puts a sleeve on. Now I come out with my arm up in the air like I'm holding this. I got this sleeve on.
Yeah.
Now everybody's looking at me. He goes, "Take 10 steps back from the vehicle. I'm going to open the door and
Yeah.
be ready."
Yeah.
So I take my 10
And you
steps.
got the head on.
I got the head on. And I don't know how this is going to go. All I know is I have to put my forearm out. That's all I have to do.
And you can't see anything.
And I'm hoping the dog just,
Goes for the forearm.
obliges with the forearm. So I stand there, I brace myself, and this thing, he opened the door. It took one step. Now, 20 feet away from the cruiser,
Yeah.
it took like 2 steps.
2 leaps.
Just 2 leaps. And it was on my arm and just ripping me. And it was the funnest thing. The funnest thing.
Now, if he didn't know your arm and he put, because you're in a costume, right?
Yeah,
He could have mistaken
Yeah.
anything. You had to make sure that
I had
arm
to make
was
sure
out
that
there.
my other one was behind my back and the
Okay.
other one was in front. And he
Well, that
just-
dog will be trained to go to
Yeah.
specific things.
Yeah,
So
he was
he's
totally
not gonna
trained.
put the head off
totally
it.
trained and like the most obedient dog, because once he said like whatever that code word is to release,
We can't release that code word on
Marshmallow, I
this
think it's
here.
marshmallow.
Sure, yeah.
I thought it was
Meat,
cucumber.
it was, mine's meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Is that your safe word?
Yeah, I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Like your safe word for everything is meatloaf?
Everything,
Everything.
everything. I don't want to work.
So he gets an email about running down the stairs
Yeah.
and banging on the glass. He just replies, "Meatloaf."
Meatloaf. Yeah,
Could you pick up some meatloaf?
yeah.
We got all the questions behind. He's cheating. He's cheating on the test.
I'm
It's
sorry.
fine. None of my questions are there.
They're all there.
They are.
They're mixed in.
I don't see any of them there.
They'll be there. Don't
None
worry.
of them.
Do you want to ask one of mine? Oh, we'll go to the
There.
bottom.
Now I see. Okay.
Okay.
Your kids. Do they get a kick out of you being a mascot for a major sports team?
They used to. It's old news for them.
Don't
Right? Their
give a
friends
rat's-
think it's cool. I've
Right.
got videos of my kids wearing my costume around the house when they're like 6, 7 years old. They don't care anymore.
Did you get to keep a costume
No.
But you took it home.
and didn't bring it
Obviously,
back?
It was with me all the time. Yeah.
Right.
It's like a tradesman with his tools. Like I need
Yeah,
that
because
too.
you get called out
I
to
would get
something and
called
you have
out
to have
that
it on.
very next day, and to go from a game after a game the next morning, I'm doing a parade.
Right. So
Like,
you
Yeah.
there's
gotta
like
keep it with
zero turnaround time. I
So-
washed the gear
you. So your
overnight.
kids got used to it. It was old hat. How about you? Do you have to after 17 years? You don't get up for it as much anymore. Or is every game like the first game?
Every game's like the first game.
Other than the helmet,
Yeah.
the mask.
Even
thing.
like I still get nervous.
Yeah.
After 17 years, I still get nervous before every game. With the Bombers today, last Friday,
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to do my second half event. I'm already down in my dressing room at the second quarter, visualizing mentally preparing. Like,
Because
what,
you've done it a
33,000
million
people.
times. Is that a fear of failing, like falling on your face, or is it a fear you're not going to be funny or interactive? Like,
yeah, it's a fear of letting the fans down. Really, like there's a group of fans are there to watch a game.
Yeah,
and then there's a group of kids and adults that just want to be entertained.
Yeah.
Right. I get told all the time. We go to games. We don't watch the game. We watch you. We chased you around. We wanted a photo with you, right? If I don't interact with them somehow or make them laugh, or whether I know it or not, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Right. Just
and
be
kids
there
of
for
all
the fans,
ages
yeah.
are following you around.
That's your next
chasing you
fan
around.
base. That's part of the job too, right? You're representing the current fan base, but you're also building a new fan base.
Were you around during the green drop versus Buzz and Boomer days?
I'm probably one of the reasons why it's not a thing anymore.
You beat them up too much?
you beat up.
They used to drop like elbow draws.
This is at the old stadium, and then it's funny.
Did you retire somebody?
Not retire somebody. I
somebody?
think just the shtick was just enough for certain companies. Like we just don't want to see it anymore but you can't not do it because
We loved it.
it would be easier to just not have Green Drop there and not beat him up versus have him there and everyone expecting you to do it and then not.
Right. So
And that's just my perspective. It's outside my pay grade, but that's
What if we talk to James, get you guys on like a conference call and like bring it back for one game for the Banjo Bowl?
James has a business where he actually he finds characters, but the bodies inside. He'll find people to play those characters. So he has access to all those costumes.
Yeah.
So it's doable. It's just
Bring
whether
it back for the Banjo Bowl. Can you imagine at the end zone where the
but he's green. He's gonna get beaten up.
the Coors Light? Yeah, exactly.
He's green. He's gonna get it.
the Coors Light. You have
It's
to beat
my
him up.
fiduciary duty
to
to beat him up.
Do you get into it? Like, okay, so it looks like you're having a good time, and you have some videos of mascots getting into it, even some coaches and managers. I think Tommy Lasorda one time was really getting mad. Do you ever get into it where you, instead of playing around, you're like really trying to go at a guy?
Like a player.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's Corey Schneider and I used to be friends.
I love the segment. Start it there. Corey Schneider and I used to be friends.
We used to be friends. We used to be friends, and he was the goalie for the Manitoba Moose.
Yeah. He's my son's favorite goalie of all time.
Right. Okay.
So, well, maybe in 5 minutes.
Well,
continue.
He played for New Jersey.
Yeah.
And we're Jets game. So I do my trademark hex thing, right? Down second pier. I know it's second pier because the stairwell's right behind the goalie. And I have that building memorized, completely blindfolded. When you ask me how to run up and down the stairs, I know the whole building.
Yeah.
So I'm behind Corey and he lifts up his mask. He's drinking water and I just give him a wave and he gives me like a little bit of a head nod. And I give him like a small little hex. And then there's a face off. And then we score.
Oh.
And he turns around, takes another sip of water, and I look at him, I give him another hex. He go face off, right? Within a minute later, come down, we score. And now I'm really giving it to him. And they scored a third goal.
Oh, no.
And I walk up the stairs in that second. It's only about 5 minutes. I walk up the stairs, turn around, come right back down, and I have got the whole section now giving it to him. Yeah. We scored again. After the game, we crossed paths. I'm like, hey, Corey. He's like, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Yep. I'm like, tough business, eh? He's just like, we're done. I'm like, yeah, we're done. Like,
that was it.
That's hilarious.
We're done.
You're just doing this
like
the
times. Friendship's done because I did my job.
Yeah.
And
he didn't do his.
Goalies are
again, super nice guy.
Yeah.
Like it's just a bad night. I haven't really seen him. No, sorry. I did see him after that one time. We did talk, but
he had a tough time with the Devils, though.
Yeah.
So, you were probably catching him on a very
I was catching
bad
him on a
time.
bad time, yeah.
And goalies are a superstitious, strange bunch.
Yeah.
Where, like, really, come on, you're doing this and 3 times, and the crowd's doing this. Hey,
that's your goal. That's your game.
I take no claim as to why we like scoring those goals.
Yeah.
It's just
or do you?
Great.
Are you Magic?
No. Yes.
Have you tried it since and it didn't work?
It happens actually pretty often.
So maybe you
Like
are.
it happens pretty
Yeah.
often.
The
We'll
Jets-
see
Where were
because
you at
I'm
the-
not there anymore. We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see if the new guy does the hex and
No, but
whatever.
it's you. It's not the mascot. It's you.
We'll see.
It's always been you.
Or it's the costume.
If it was me, we would have a Stanley Cup
It's
ring by
always
now.
been you.
So talking about like being the biggest fan of the team, because you said
Yeah.
you have to be the biggest fan of the team no matter what.
Hmm.
You were one of the only people that got to be in the arena during the 2021 season, correct?
One of yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
there was a good
in terms
collective-
of
yeah.
being like a presented person during the game, we could see
Well,
Mickey
me
on
and Celsi,
broadcasts.
me and
And
Celsi,
Celsi, who we also know who plays Celsi, because
Yeah.
Lorraine's friends with him.
he's my handler for 17 years. He and I retired on the same
He
night.
just retired too. Yes,
Same night, yeah. We should have him here. He's more interesting than I am.
We'll see.
Next podcast.
We'll
Together, duo.
We'll get him on the next one.
Yeah.
I did know that he were like Lorraine actually told me he was retiring too. I did not
Mhm.
know that he was the handler that would help
Yeah.
take care of you all the time.
Yeah.
He said, if you're going, I'm going.
Well, he was told, like, you're putting this thing on. Oh, wait, for
For-
retiring?
Retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's also from out by St. Anne, I think.
He's from
area.
St. Malo.
St. Malo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he and I would we would drive to St. Malo, visit his old school, do some book readings, and then we'd make a day of it. It's fun.
Yeah, not as Mickey though, right? You couldn't read a book
Me?
as Mickey.
No, he would read,
Oh,
and
okay.
I would just sit there
Yeah,
in the
Mickey-
crowd, pretending like
Mickey-
I'm listening to the same story. 'cause-
And you would just shake your head
Yeah,
and
yeah.
do the thing, the Mickey
Yeah.
mannerisms,
yeah,
right?
reading the Jets storybook, right?
Yeah.
So-
Which he's in. I got him in that storybook.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we have that book?
Yeah. Holly Preston.
do?
Holly Preston. We worked together on that. I get no credit.
No
Written
credit.
by
No
Holly
cre-
Preston and Mickey Moose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a question for you.
Sure. why I'm
So you said earlier,
I like that you said it because I usually do. Good.
you said earlier, I knew I would. I understand what that was. So you said earlier that being a mascot it's tons of energy. You've got to be in shape, or it's better to be in shape when you're running everywhere, especially outside. It's hot, whatever
Mhm.
it is for the Bombers.
Mhm.
You look like you're in good shape. What's your regimen? What's your workout regimen? How do you stay in shape?
Oh, I chase my kids. I coach lots of hockey. I'm in the gym every day. I'm in better shape now than I was probably 5 years ago, right? Like it comes and goes with time commitments, but
Yeah.
yeah, just I'm in the gym for an hour every day. So there's a gym in St. Anne, Manitoba, where I live, and it's 5 minutes away. I go there, great group of people, do my workouts, and then the mascotting keeps you in shape,
Yeah.
right? That's probably what I'm going to miss the most. That's why I still do it.
The sweating and
Yeah.
it's
And
basically
it's-
like wearing
it's-
one of those rubber suits
Right.
when you're working out.
So I've worn a sauna suit underneath my costume one day when I was training jujitsu to make weight to do
Yeah.
a tournament. Lost almost 18 pounds in one game.
Wow.
18 pounds.
18 pounds in one game.
It's water
one
weight.
game?
It's water.
Yeah,
weight.
but
It's
Yeah.
water weight.
still.
Yeah, like totally not healthy. Totally do not
No.
promote it whatsoever. But
Dehydrated.
if I wanted to fight a specific weight class and I was busy with school and
Right.
work and the Jets, I figured I'd just do it all in one night.
And you have to weigh in the day before,
Wait,
right?
the next morning. So next
Next
morning
morning.
was a lot of Pedialyte,
Yeah.
Olive Garden, just to get my weight back up and nutrients.
So when
Yeah.
you became the mascot, so can we say how old you are?
I turned 41 in July.
41. So
Yeah.
17 years ago, you were just a kid.
Yeah.
You were 24 years old.
Yeah.
You were basically like probably one of the youngest mascots in the AHL at that time, probably, right?
I don't know because we didn't really get together.
Oh, okay.
I only got introduced to the other mascots when
During the All-Star?
during the NHL All Star.
Okay.
In Ottawa is my first one.
Did you go to all the All-Star games after that, or has it been
Yeah.
just random?
Yeah, no, any All Star game that there was.
Yep.
I think what Kid and I were counting on the way here was 8 or 9 of them. So
Really?
wow.
So 8 or 9 All-Star games, NHL.
NHL, yeah,
All-Star
yeah,
games.
and then they treat you like gold. Like they put on a show.
What was your favorite? What year? When? Where was it? And
Oh,
why?
okay. So I have a couple. One was, my one of my best friends. He's still one of my best friends, even though he lives in Massachusetts now. He was the original NJ Devil.
Okay.
Rob Peters, classic. Like instantly bonded, like step brothers, like instantly.
Yeah.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
That was probably the best. Like to make a best friend within like 24 hours, and then we've been best friends since. And
Yeah.
we did everything together, like everything. and at every All-Star. But then he retired 5 years ago,
Okay.
and it just hasn't been the same.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and he's a phenomenal hockey player. We did this thing, so it resonates. So there's this fan fest, kind of like a convention center
Right.
atmosphere, and then there's the game, and then there's the skills comp. So we're roaming around at the fan fest, and he knows that I can play hockey, and I know that he can play hockey. So we're going to pair up together and do the hockey events. I get a stick handed to me. I probably couldn't do it again, but it was just the adrenaline and the crowd watching, and I hit 5 for 5 targets. And he grabs a stick at the the event right next to me, standing still, kid you not, 94 miles per hour slap shot.
Oh, no.
We just
4,
high five each other,
5.
and we just walk away. And
You
everybody's
just dropped the mic.
This was in Columbus, and everyone's like, "Who are these
Mascots?
guys?" So people were coming up to us, and we're like, "No, just gonna keep going. Like, just play it out. Let's get to the back. Let's let them wonder, right?"
Yeah.
So
And to this day, fans of Columbus still
they
speak of
still speak of
the
that.
94
Yeah.
and the 5 for
They
5.
probably
yeah.
thought a player went into a costume,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
they probably thought that somebody like the Jets put somebody in there
Yeah.
and the Devils put somebody
Yeah,
in
the best
there.
is when we find Jeremy Roenick in crowd though, because he wears a disguise. He'll always
Okay.
try and like disguise himself. And
Oh, that's
we
gotta be
always
funny.
we tracked him down. The guy from San Jose would pick him out instantly. We'd take the wig off, and then there'd be a crowd.
He's wearing a wig.
Well, he was wearing a long wig all
Yeah,
the
the
time.
big mustache. Curled
Yeah.
around
He looked like a Hulk Hogan walking around. Hard to miss.
So, was there any unexpected lessons or skills that you learned being a mascot that you took to your day job?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think just the professionalism that it comes to like being a leader.
Yeah.
Right. In my day job, leadership's number one. I pride myself in being a good leader, and I like to be called out when I'm not.
Yeah.
And when fans call me out for being a bad leader to the crowd or the atmosphere, like, "Hey, you suck tonight." It's like, you know what? Maybe I do suck tonight. Maybe I'm not in it. Maybe I got to figure this out, right?
Maybe I should retire.
Yeah, maybe I should just quit. I'm
Didn't
done.
know that.
Right? But when you know you have to rise to the occasion,
Yeah.
right? You just do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I can correlate when things need to happen. It's not a push; it's a pull. Right?
It's funny that, and not so funny, but it's very interesting that leadership comes in different forms, sizes, shapes, and even in the mascot world, you can be a leader, and I think that's a good life lesson. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very cool because it's a different leadership,
Mhm.
right? But at the same time, leadership is leadership, and
Yeah.
the funny, like saying you suck and then
Yeah.
having to
Well,
react to that.
Well, there's 4 cycles, right? Like there's your first day of your job. If you're crappy, then you know that you're crappy. And I
Yeah.
correlate this with mascots and everything, relationships, family, right? Work. You're crappy and you know that you're crappy. Then you get good, but you don't know that you're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then you get good and you know that you're good. And then the worst one is that you're not good and you don't know that you're not good.
Yeah,
So then you get stuck there. You get in that rut, right? Until you have to get back to you humble yourself real quick. I'm good. I'm not good, and I know that I'm not good.
yeah,
I was watching a podcast with Adam Sandler, and he was saying when he was just a young, brash, 22-year-old kid doing the stand-up routine, he thought he was and he's like, I wasn't all that funny at all, but I just had this burst of confidence.
Yeah.
Now that he's 50 years old or 45 or whatever, how much years old, he goes back to do these routines, and he's nervous now
Yeah.
because he kind of actually knows a little.
The shtick is up.
Yeah, it's a few things
Yeah.
here and there, and
Yeah.
but when you're young and stupid, right?
Yeah.
it's the same
Oh,
as when
yeah.
we started our podcast. It started out, we thought we were doing good,
Yeah.
but when we look back at them now, because this is episode 53 or 4, something like that, like 53 episodes ago, it was very not great.
Great.
Right?
There's
Now
some
you guys are
days-
perfected. You guys are great at. You guys know that. you're
There's
great.
still some days where
Oh,
I'm not
no.
very good.
No.
we're
you guys got
all
this.
we're all learning.
This
every
is my
day.
first, so I know that I'm not good right now.
You're doing awesome for the fact that this is your first podcast and your first interview.
Well, it was either you guys or Spit and Chicklets, so I chose you guys.
Oh yeah,
Do you have a contract that says you?
No,
we'll sign the
no,
contract
but
that says
that's
you
the
can't
joke.
do
Is
both.
that I told Biz when we were at All Star. He may have not remembered the conversation,
yeah.
but I was going to be retiring next year. This was in Florida, and I would be open to doing the tell all with you guys.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything back.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Okay.
So when you say tell all,
Mhm.
why don't we just give you the floor? And what would you tell all about? We have a whole list of questions, but I think
I
there's
don't
some
know your
stuff-
audience. I mean, I don't know who's listening
No,
in.
tell us. Okay, tell us one of the most interesting out of 17 years. What's the most interesting event, story / thing that ever happened to you?
The time I ignored Eric Clapton when you mid conversation, or okay, this one's better.
Yeah, not or.
No,
Let's say both.
no. I'll save that one for another day, maybe.
No, you're not saving anything for another day.
So, I'm in
Paul
my.
Bissonnette, you're not getting any of this stuff. Biz Nasty out.
Yeah, we had their chance. I even sent them an email to follow up. So I was walking through the arena one morning, and I had to go wash my equipment because I had just done an appearance the night before. The thing was really smelly, and I get access to the building after hours. I had a swipe card that gave me access to everywhere. I can go on top of I had a date they don't know this, but I had a date on top of the score clock.
Well, they know now.
They know now. What can they do now? I was best friends with a security guard, and I had a
On
date.
top of
I had a
this
date. I
old
had a
score
date.
clock.
Old, above, like in the catwalk.
Oh, okay.
Went right up there. 2 glasses of wine. Had a date up there, just to impress. It
Awesome,
didn't work. It didn't work. It was the
awesome,
first and
it
last
didn't
date.
work.
But so anyway, I was carrying my equipment. The head was out of the bag because it was really smelly, and a guy was walking by, and he says, "What's that?" I said, "Oh, so I'm just the mascot for the local sports team here." I said, "Are you here for a concert?" He goes, "Yeah." And tall guy, he had no beard at the time. Like normally, I know Eric Clapton to have a goatee, glasses.
Yeah.
He didn't have any of that, and he has a bit of an accent, I think. And I couldn't recall a lot of it, but as I'm walking by, I go, you have a great show. And I'm walking by and I see a poster on the wall. It says Eric Clapton. I look at it and I look back at him. I look back at the poster. I'm like, I just totally ignoring Eric Clapton, thinking I'm some big deal, and he's not.
And he had no idea he was talking to Mickey Mouse.
No, yeah. No. Yeah. So I have two really cool stories.
Okay.
They are not hockey related at all, and I think it resonates to the feel. So
Okay.
because hockey's a business, hockey's a sport. It's a child sport played by men.
Yeah.
Right. But
100%.
it's all behind the scenes that makes it fun. So I think I was after my audition, there was about 2 weeks that went by, and I get a call saying you need to bring your costume to the arena right now if you're available. I can't tell you why, but you need to get here. Guy who's going to jump on opportunity, I'll be there in 25 minutes.
You got to do it.
Throw my stuff in the car, drive there, get there. I'm met by a couple security teams. Put your costume on. Okay, the Tragically Hip are here. They want you guys to listen in on their sound check, and they want a group photo with you guys after. I thought this is the coolest thing in my entire life. And if I had more prep, I would have bought a guitar on the way in.
Yeah.
I would have
sure.
I would have done something if I had known, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
Not everybody did. So I put my costume on, I'm sitting in the crowd, and sure as heck, Gord Downey and the Tragically Hip are performing their sound check on stage. They come down, and this is one of the coolest things. So he asked for a photo with me. The whole group asked for a photo with me, and then we do a group photo in the crowd. And then he comes up to me, he goes, Do you have any hockey cards? I went, yeah. So I give a signed hockey card, Mickey Mouse, to Gord Downey. He's like, thanks. And he puts it in his pocket. I'm like, I don't know what ever happened to that thing.
Yeah.
I can say that Gord Downey asked for my autograph.
That is pretty wicked.
And it was the coolest thing. And he's like super eccentric, like quirky movements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's standing right here. I remember that like so vividly.
What year was that?
Oh man, that would be 2007.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a while back now.
Yeah, 2007. That's when I started, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, so you're early.
This was
early
it's like
days.
2 weeks of me
Yeah,
getting the
you were
job.
saying that, yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
the probably the
I'm going to ask real quick. Did you have to practice a Mickey Mouse signature?
Yeah. So after every Moose game, we would do Autograph Alley.
Yep.
And I would sit upstairs. After working a full game, 5 hours in costume, I'd have to sit there and now like
jeez.
sweat pouring in my eyes, like signing autographs like this, taking photos, blinking my way through pain. And I would just do like 150 autographs.
Yeah.
So I just became like a thing where I just had my own trademarks autograph, but I don't know if they're going to continue. They probably won't,
How are
because
they gonna do it
the
with the new
certificates
guy?
that you get when you go to a game, your first game, that's not my signature.
Oh, okay.
I don't sign those. No one's ever asked me to sign those.
But
So that's somebody.
Is it a facsimile of yours? Like, did they
Nope.
take your signature and
Nope.
make
Someone
a
just started
facsimile?
doing a generic Mickey Mouse on those things. It's
Oh,
not my
okay.
my signature. You could tell.
Oh, okay.
So you said you had one more story.
I have one, maybe two.
Okay.
Okay, so
We'll take 'em all.
second is Phoenix Coyotes are playing against Chicago for a preseason exhibition game in Winnipeg. I don't know if you guys remember this. This would be Moose Days. This would be like 2005, 2006.
I do remember, yeah.
Before I would get access to a pre-game meal. Again, things were on the decline when the Jets came back. I got treated a lot differently back then. So I'm in line. I'm going to get ready to get my costume on soon. I'm really not that hungry, but I know I need to eat something because I just went from school. I got to eat something and then I got to work tonight. So I'm in line. This short little bald guy's in front of me. He turns around. He goes, "Winnipeg's nice." I went, "Okay. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I don't mind it." He goes, "The soup looks really good." I went, "Soup does look good." He goes, "Do you want some soup?" I went, "Sure, I'll have some soup." So he pours me a bowl of soup, not knowing who I'm talking to. Hands me a bowl of soup. "Do you want some crackers?" "Sure, I'll take some crackers." Now, the Manitoba Moose sales team, like their ticket sales guys, are all sitting at a table and they're just sitting there looking at me watching. And I can't tell why they're looking at me and why they're staring at me. So I turn around, he hands me a spoon. No, I hand him a spoon. We grab some napkins, turn around. It's Scotty Bowman.
I was going to say Scotty Bowman.
Scotty Bowman. And he goes, "You want to sit down?" "Yeah, sure." So I'm sitting at a table, just Scotty Bowman and I having soup. And the whole...
You're not in costume.
Not
or
in
anything.
costume.
You're
I'm
just a normal Joe.
I'm wearing jeans and like a sweater,
Yeah.
right? Not
He
branded
probably
at all.
thought you were Hugh Jackman.
No,
maybe.
he thought he was Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne. So we're sitting there talking about Winnipeg weather, not about hockey at all.
Yeah.
I wanted to, but I'm like, if he's not bringing it up, I'm not bringing it up. Had just a candid, casual conversation for about 10 minutes, finished my soup, said, "It was a pleasure talking to you. I have to get ready." He asked me what I do. I told him what I did. He thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah.
I thought what he did was pretty neat. And then as I'm walking away, one of the guys grabs my arm. He goes, "What were you guys talking about?" I went, "Soup." And I just kept, that was it. I just walked away.
Soup.
Scotty Bowman, legend.
No soup for you.
Yeah.
I saw him one time walking the concourses when I was in some city. I can't remember what it was. It was crazy. But okay, so you maybe have another story?
Yeah, this is my favorite.
Okay, here we go.
For anybody who saw the Mascot hockey game, I should send you guys the video
Okay.
because this didn't get any attention at all.
Right.
Where
And we have
I'll put the video in.
okay,
Yeah.
so this rattled my cage a lot. So CBC was at the Jets game prior to going to All-Star.
Okay.
And they said, "Can you do something funky with like what you're going to do?" So they said, "Can you showcase what you're going to do?" So I picked the puck up on my stick and I cradle it because I can do that in my costume. Right?
Yeah.
I can do what the kids call the Michigan.
Yeah.
I can do that in my costume. Right? I practiced it
My
enough
son's been
times.
practicing it all
I
week.
can do it. Right? And the kids challenge me all the time when I coach my sons. We do it all the time just as a joke. So I've mastered it. So I kind of showcase what I was planning to do. So I'm in All-Star in Florida. I'm with my girlfriend and she's going to take the video. And this is the first time I brought her or anybody with me to All-Star. So it was a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be my last year.
and you took her up to the rafters. And
No.
A couple of glasses of wine?
Just the hotel.
Just the,
Just the hotel. So now the home team gets a lot of camera time during that game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the camera was on the Florida Stanley Panther. right?
Yeah.
Where I pick the puck up on my stick, right from my net, and I lacrosse cradle it all the way down, and then I drop the puck, and then I score. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right? To do that in a costume in front of the crowd, like I was nervous.
Yeah.
Pretty big thing, right? Nothing. Crickets.
Nobody cared.
But this is where it all comes back, and I'll take it. So we go up to the EA Sports Lounge, where PK Subban is there, Mark Messier is there, like huge fan of his work,
Yeah.
and
Elbows.
we're all doing like this video thing, and he's standing. He looks at my jersey because in the States it just says Moose.
Yeah.
For what's it called? Like rights.
Yeah.
Right. So it just says Moose on the back, and what's his nickname?
The Moose.
Moose.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right. So he goes, "I'm standing next to this guy," and I go, "I'm standing next to this guy."
Yeah.
So he goes, "Hey, by the way, I saw your goal earlier." It's pretty nice. I'm like, that's all I needed.
Yeah.
From
Mark
Mark
Messier to say that I
The
scored a
moose,
cool
the
goal.
moose.
That's it. I'm good. I don't need anything else.
It's funny that nobody responded to it.
Yeah.
This phenomenal
I thought
thing
for
that
sure it was gonna make a
Mark
highlight reel.
Messier would comment that he saw, but nobody. I guess it's Florida.
So is that why on the back of the jersey on EA Sports it always just says Moose?
Yeah.
Is it because of a
Disney
Mickey thing?
copyright? Disney copyright?
But it's
infringement?
Mick E. Moose.
Well, I always said, why not just call it Mick? Because everybody knows.
Yeah.
But I below my pay grade.
yeah.
Right? If I
You
was
can't make those.
if I was an
Moose.
American
Mick Moose.
mascot who had that marketing background and all that good stuff, I'd probably be able to. I'd
But
probably
they-
be questioned, but I'm not.
they're
I'm just a
trying to
guy in a
figure-
costume.
They're trying to take advantage of this Mickey. They are working off Mickey
Yeah.
Mouse, Mickey Moose.
Yeah.
Even if it's Mickey.
But that's a character that was developed or brought over from the Minneapolis Moose, right?
That's right.
When we
Yeah.
bought the team. It's the same character.
So they actually
I don't
changed.
know how they got away with it.
They changed the head a few times, right?
Yeah.
So they changed the eyes, I
Mhm.
think,
Less aggressive.
less
more friendly,
aggressive,
yeah.
and then they put the aviator helmet on the Jets version.
Right.
Does the Moose version have the aviator helmet as well?
There's a couple heads that are it's removable. I think they just leave it on. I don't really know.
Okay,
I've only been to a couple Moose games.
since you've started doing the Jets ones instead.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the segment?
The fun segment of this or that.
Yeah, can we do that?
Yeah. Do you want to do that right now?
Okay.
So
I got
would-
it written. I got it
But
printed out
stop
this time.
looking back
Okay, I'm
there.
on. Okay.
Can
I'm
you
gonna drink my
please
drink my
not- I
my
would never
coffee.
see anyone try to look
Sorry.
at the screen
I've
that
got it.
many times.
Sorry, well, I don't know.
So
I'm
have
always
a
looking
reason
over.
for you.
I'm a mascot. I'm always looking over my shoulder.
He
right?
wants. He wants. to know
I've been
what's going
jumped
on.
way too many times.
we have a segment called This or That.
Wait, I think you should ask him about the question that where he just said he's been jumped.
You've been
too many
jumped?
times.
Like by kids or by
Kids
by
are not a
adults?
problem.
Oh, you're looking back like some mafia hitman's behind
Yeah,
you,
I'll always sit in the corner. of the
breaking
room.
your ankles or threatening to do so.
Yeah.
There's a
Never
lot
know.
of people that probably want to
Yeah.
like visiting fans and stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Or just
You
current
sit at the
fans that
table at the
drum.
back, always looking at the door.
Yeah.
Have
I'm
you ever
always sit in
gotten
the
into it
corner.
with visiting fans?
Yes.
Like in the
Yes.
in the crowd and stuff?
Not in. Okay.
Not in the crowd, but like in the concourse.
Is this a story?
If you have one,
Yeah.
I'll let you.
So I do this thing where I jokingly like pick my nose and I wipe it on an opposing team's jersey as I walk by them.
The Jets let you do that?
I don't know.
They-
I've
They
done
know
it,
it
and
doesn't
like
matter now.
like corporate see me do it lots of times, and they get a bit of a chuckle out of it.
Mark.
So I do this,
Meatloaf.
yeah, meatloaf. So I do this one time at a game, and I wipe it on the guy's jersey as I walk by. This is like the beginning of the game, third period. I guess he's had way too many beverages at
Yeah.
that point, and he comes up. I'm walking one way, he's walking the other way, and out of nowhere, he just gives me a huge shove and puts me up against the wall. He was like in his late 40s, and he's like physically holding me up against this wall, and I'm
Was he wearing Adam Party's helmet?
he was wearing no, but it was a Chicago jersey.
It was.
I don't know why it's always
Oh,
Chicago. It's Chicago. Yeah.
Meatloaf.
Yeah. I wish it was, but it should be Boston, right?
Yeah.
Ka-
Oh,
So,
no.
Yeah.
I've been to,
Oh.
you've been to some games in Chicago.
Yeah. So there's been like Philadelphia and Boston fan engagements, but
Yeah.
I'll focus on this one. So he's got me up against the wall, and my handler, Ryan, he's doesn't really know what to do because it happens so fast. And he's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "He picked his nose and wiped it on me." And we're like, "Are you serious?" Just then, a police officer happened to be standing right there, walked over.
Yeah.
He goes, "Excuse me, sir, like, what's the problem?" He goes, "He picked his nose and he wiped it on me."
Yeah.
The police officer kind of gives a bit of a chuckle.
Yeah.
And it's like the same group of police officers that go in rotation. So I high five them, joke with them a number of times, right? Ask them to take opposing fans out as a joke.
Yeah.
And he gives a bit of a chuckle. He goes, "Okay, like, well, what do we want to do here?" He goes, "Are we pressing charges?" He goes, I don't know. Maybe I am pressing charges." And the cop goes, "Well, I wasn't talking to you, sir. I was talking to Mickey. I saw you physically grab him and put him up against the wall. So I'm in my costume. I go, "Well, I don't know. Are we pressing charges?" And he just let me go. And we just kept walking.
Well, in the voice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The voice. I can't. I have never.
But the thing is, you don't know who's in there. Like I'm an adult, but
You could have been a girl.
It could have been like a 18-year-old kid, right? You don't know who you're manhandling, right?
I know who his voice is now. Mickey's voice.
Who's that?
So he says he's Bruce Wayne and he's
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
Bruce?
Where is he?
Yeah.
Where's the
Christian Bale's Batman.
Where is he? Yeah.
I thought you were to say Bane.
No.
I'm Batman. You adopted the
He has
dog.
to go super deep.
Yeah.
Just you merely adopted the dark.
I was born.
I was
in it.
born.
Were you
in it.
were you adopted by a butler who was
I
older?
I wish.
Yeah, Alfred. No?
Alfred. I wish I had an Alfred.
We all wish we had an Alfred.
I know, don't we?
No.
And the
Well, you kinda
cars.
do. You have
I just
many.
want that tumbler.
Oh, before we ask the questions, I
Sure.
forgot.
Okay.
You're a big Ghostbuster fan, eh?
Yeah, you guys know this?
I knew this. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Huge.
What do you think of the reincarnations of Ghostbusters?
I think it's great. I think it's great. Like I get to relive my childhood through my children now.
Yeah.
I get to take them. In fact, like we go to all of the opening movies and it's fun. I have a collection of all of the original 80s, 90s toys.
Really?
Yeah, we bought all of that.
And you watched the last one, right?
Yeah, I own them all. Like
Yeah.
Amazon Prime.
Do you
I just
remember
buy
the
it.
toy when you got the Ghostbuster toy and it had the gun? What's the gun called again?
The proton?
The
bag?
proton.
Yeah.
And you would spin it, and
You
it had the
spin
little
you spin the
plastic
back.
thing,
Yeah.
and
That's
it was.
the original. Like, yeah, that's the original 84
I think my
toys.
parents might still have it somewhere.
Yeah.
That was
I have all of those.
such a fun
I have
toy.
like those IKEA glass cabinets.
Yeah.
I have it. Well, they're on storage right now, just because we've blended homes.
Yeah,
So lots of.
you don't know if you can trust the new kids with the toys.
I don't know the 5-year-old. Man, that thing she gets into everything. Like tapes pennies to the wall and their buttons now. Like I just don't want to risk.
He doesn't know if he can trust the
I
new
can't.
kids.
I can't trust.
The new kids.
Yeah, I can't trust. Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
they just blended. He
Yeah,
said.
blended,
So they're
yeah.
new kids.
yeah.
in
yeah.
the home.
Oh, you should go on a big trip to where did the Adam Sandler and Blended? Where'd they all go to reunite?
Hawaii? Oh,
Hawaii?
Africa?
They went to
South
Africa. Yeah, they went to Africa.
Yeah, we've seen.
and it didn't
Yeah.
turn out very well at the beginning, but
No.
by the end they were all bonded.
Yeah,
You should do that.
we should.
Now that you're retired, you have time.
We did. Yeah. Well, I took my boys. We got invited with retirement. We got invited to Minneapolis by the Minnesota Wild.
Okay.
Their mascot, like, covered all our expenses. Like,
Wow.
we paid for our travel and our hotel, but like they
Yeah.
got the tickets. Like they treated the kids like gold.
Yeah.
Like the fans are awesome, the staff were awesome. Like they invited us. That's the first time I've seen the Jets play live.
Oh wow.
Right?
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like without a head on.
Yeah, without a head on.
Well, with the
Like
with the mascot,
I've been at games like when we went to Finland. I like when the Jets went to Finland.
Yeah.
We went to Detroit. We went to Toronto, but I didn't get to watch a lot of it. I was with
Working.
other people. I wasn't even working. I was just with other people moving around and
Oh, okay.
it's just busy arenas, right?
Minnesota has some of the best mascots in sports.
They do.
The
Gopher?
the Timberwolf.
Yeah.
We saw the Timberwolf, and he's built very much like Mickey.
Yeah.
Just a big head with a slender body.
Yeah.
And basketball mascots have to be that way because they
Yeah.
do all the different
The
flips
slam
and stuff
dunks.
like that.
Yeah, that's what I used to do at UW, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then they also have the Viking, which is an awesome mascot. I think
Yeah.
they could make him a little angrier looking, but he's a great
He's-
mascot as well.
I've never met those guys. I have met other NHL or NBA and NFL mascots, but not those guys.
Do you have
But I do
video?
know, I do know that they're great. Like the Utah Jazz guy,
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Do you have video of you slamming basketballs at UW?
No,
As a mascot?
no, it's,
Can't stand
it's
it, sir?
university. We
And
don't
back
have
in the
to-
day, they didn't have all the camera phones
No.
that they do these
That's
days.
true,
No.
eh?
No,
Yeah.
Okay,
we
awesome.
just had the
You wanna
black.
do
We
this
just had
or
the
that?
blackberries.
I'm still getting stories out of
I'm
Mark.
sorry.
These are-
I think I'm talking too
no,
much.
no. These are
No.
great stories. I
Okay.
don't want to
Are
leave it.
they?
I'm just nervous and paranoid. They want to leave something out. You'll have a great story and off camera. You'll be like,
No,
I
no.
should have told that story about
No,
the
no.
time that we.
We'll do this or that, and
Yeah.
we'll get into more stories.
If you think of anything else
Okay.
while we're doing the game,
Okay.
then
we have time as long
please
as you have
share.
time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we
Maybe
have
a
as much
6-hour
time as you
podcast.
do.
I got
That's no
back
big
to
deal.
school shopping with the kids later. That's about it.
This is a game called This or That. Sorry, we argue about this one because
This
he
or that.
never intros it properly.
No,
so
he's always
I-
correcting me, and I
Right.
introduced it just fine.
Friends or brothers? That's what I
Just
want to.
friends.
Just friends.
Well,
okay.
we're brothers in Jesus.
Yeah. There.
Acquaintances now.
Okay.
So this game's called This or That.
Okay.
Essentially, you get to pick this or that. You can't say pass. You can't say both.
One or the
You
other.
have to pick one or the other. When you pick one, the
Okay.
other one disappears from your life forever. So
Okay.
that's the mentality you have to have when you answer this or that.
Okay.
Okay?
Have to pick one.
You have to pick
and
one.
One I give up forever.
And you can't pass. You can't.
Okay.
You have to pick one.
pick one.
Okay,
Okay.
so even
I
if
already
it's
said that.
in, I'm just reiterating.
Doing
My
my
ADHD is going to pick up, and I'm just going to rapid fire these things. I know. No.
And some
So
of them are really
if
hard.
you do want to explain why, feel free.
Okay.
Like, so it's not a rapid fire thing.
Okay.
But if you don't want to explain why, you just say which one you want, and then don't continue.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll start easy. Buzz or boomer?
Buzz.
Oh, Manitoba Moose games or Jets games?
Jets games.
As a mascot.
As a mascot.
Jets games as a mascot?
Jets game. Just the vibe. Just
Yeah.
the vibe. Like nothing beats it.
How about Bomber games versus Jets games?
Oh shoot.
We'll take the time.
Yeah.
We have all
But
day.
I can
We
justify
usually play
both, but I have to
crickets.
pick one, right?
You have
Usually
to. That's
we-
the rules. That's the law.
And while you're
The
thinking,
law of this or that.
while you're thinking, we'll either have crickets
either-
or the sound of
See,
Jeopardy
I
in the
either
background.
upset Mark
I like
Chipman
Jeopardy.
or Wade Miller. Like that's how do I?
Oh, sure. We can add that too.
No.
Mark Chipman or Wade Miller.
Oh, no.
You have to pick one, and one of them.
I'll if it's Mark Chipman or Wade Miller, I highly respect Wade Miller, but Mark Chipman's done a lot for me and my family.
Yeah.
And like
17 years.
and he will still stop and say hi and have a conversation real quick and acknowledge me.
Yeah.
I know Wade's focus is always on the players and on the environment, which is great because that's what brings the money in.
Yeah.
But Mark will take time for staff. Every
Also,
now and then.
Wade wouldn't know who's in the
No.
outfit, right? Because you're
Well,
rotating.
I think he might know that I do it. He's seen me enough times.
Well, he
but
knows that
he's
you're in it,
yeah.
but he doesn't know when you're in it.
No, and he's so busy with it. Like even when players getting injured and stuff. So
And Chipman would let you, if it was up to him, pour popcorn on people too.
I don't know.
I've met him
I don't
a
know.
couple times. He would.
You put
Yeah,
popcorn
yeah.
on Chipman, didn't you?
That's another story for another day.
I would let him play the drums though, because he can play the drums.
That's what we've heard. We've heard that from a couple
Yes,
people.
and
now.
I know
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
Rob Breimer told me that he played
Yeah.
for a gig.
Yeah, and Lauren Coral told us as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. So while you're thinking of that question, because we have to come back to it,
Right.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Okay, back to Jets or Bombers, just to be at the stadium or at the arena doing your thing.
Jets games.
Jets games.
I'm a hockey player. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
that's my thing.
All-Star gamer or playoffs being a mascot again.
Playoffs.
Oh.
Running at Assiniboine Downs or walking a parade?
Walking a parade.
Because you're walking and you're not running?
Yeah, I'm walking, not running. You get to see a lot of the same people when you're like at the Downs
Yeah.
versus at a parade. You're seeing everybody. Like you get a
You're
little
getting
snippet,
a variety.
and they only get you for like a little bit.
Yeah.
So they take advantage of it, and you got to take advantage of it too.
Yeah.
There you go. Beating up the green drop? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
That was never a
That's
question.
the thing. Yeah, no.
Beating up the green drop or beating up the green drop? Okay,
Yeah.
beating
Yeah.
up the green drop it is.
Right.
Family Guy or The Simpsons?
I'm an '80s baby, so I got to say The Simpsons.
Simpsons still on, I think, right?
I could do a pretty good impression though of what's the Hubert
Which one?
from Family Guy? Hubert?
Okay, we have no time for that.
Okay, good.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Really?
Yeah.
Shoot. Come on, Jesse. It's time to make your peas and poops.
Oh, that guy.
That guy,
The
yeah.
old man.
Yeah.
The old
Michael
man.
Caine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know? I thought that was one of your questions.
I didn't remember the name.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know the name of
Okay,
the guy
yeah.
either. I just know him
Yeah.
as the old man that always
Yeah.
Which
wants-
sometimes I'll do that voice in costume and scare people.
Right.
Creeps them out.
Yeah.
Creeps them out pretty good.
Costume.
Yeah.
This is for coffee alone. Tim Hortons, Starbucks, or McDonald's.
Tim Hortons.
You drink coffee?
I do.
What's your order?
Vanilla cold brew, or now it's just the classic cold brew, no sugar.
There you go.
Cutting back.
Cut back on the sugar.
Yeah.
You watch your diet?
I try
Well,
to.
he's
Try to.
gotta.
Have
Well,
to.
That's an assumption.
I don't have to, but I choose to.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm gonna quit being a mascot to be there for my kids, I gotta look after my health to be there for
Is there
my
some
kids.
big guys that play mascots?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like out of shape guys? Yes.
You can probably tell by the way they move as a mascot.
Yeah, they're
They're not as energetic.
right.
We'll look up some of those guys and we'll put them up on the. No, just
Yeah,
kidding.
I'll tell you. That's the tell-all, right? Yeah.
Your cheat meal. What is it? If you're
Cheat
gonna-
meal?
Yeah.
I love gummy candy.
Yeah.
Like just candy.
Just gummy candy
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Video games or Netflix?
Netflix. I don't play video games.
What are you binging right now?
Yellowstone.
Yeah.
That I have to watch by myself because my girlfriend thinks it's too violent.
Season 5, second half of season 5 is coming soon.
Yes.
Like,
so I'm just
real
finishing
soon.
season 3, so I'm binging it on Netflix when I
It's-
can in between children work and
It's so good.
play. Yeah.
It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Working out or eating healthy?
I would rather work out than eat healthy.
All right. Friends or Seinfeld?
My sister-in-law is gonna hate me for this. Seinfeld.
Because I knew you were gonna pick Seinfeld when you said that.
Yeah.
And it's the right answer.
Yeah.
In-
It's the one with the cookie crumble.
It's
Come
the
on.
ri- it's
So
the
we
right
have our
answer.
producer saying it's incorrect, and that's that opinion.
Oh yeah.
By the way, if you pick one, doesn't mean you hate the other one.
Right.
No, the other one
Picking
disappears forever though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you don't like it. It's just you like the other one better.
Yeah.
So he's not downplaying the second option.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a very good show.
Anytime I've lived on my own, I moved into my own place. Like I moved from one place to another, and before cable set up,
Yeah.
Netflix Seinfeld is just streaming in the background.
Yeah.
It's just in the background.
It's the Office of our generation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
right.
we could watch that over and
yeah.
over.
So who would be
and
the Dwight comparison in Seinfeld though?
George?
George?
It's
Oh,
gotta
yeah,
be
it's
George.
definitely George.
Or Kramer?
No, it's George.
Kramer would be what's his name from The Office? Creed.
Creed? Yeah. Okay. Fair
We,
enough.
we saw Jerry Seinfeld at the arena.
So did I. That was my birthday present last year.
Nice.
Yeah, last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my 40th.
He was
present.
pretty, he was good.
He was good. He was very good,
Right?
right?
It's like a year ago.
Yeah.
September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how he hates his family.
You know what? you know what's
He's honest about it.
you know
Like,
what struck? Well, I mean,
vacation specifically,
he
right?
is creating a character. Who
Mhm.
knows what he's saying is actually the truth?
Of course.
But what I was struck by with
Mm-mm.
was he's been in so many years in entertainment, and he actually works at his material. I've listened to his stuff for a long time. There is new stuff there. He's always creating new stuff. He's not stopping,
Right.
and he's done everything. There's no reason he needs to work. He
My
just
favorite
loves
part was
doing
when he came out at the beginning and the cell
it.
phones.
The cell phones.
Yeah.
Hey,
Take him out.
Take 'em out, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And meanwhile they're like they're looking confiscating cell phones
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But he comes out. Take,
Take
him
'em
out.
out,
Who
yeah, yep.
cares? Just snap your pictures.
Yeah.
Is that your Seinfeld
No, I
impression?
wasn't really trying.
His
Yeah.
humor impression.
Who are these people? Yeah.
Who
I don't do a good Jerry.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not doing impressions today. just
Would
so you know.
horrible.
officially, by the way, I wasn't trying to do my
Yes, you were.
impersonation. I was
Anytime you
He
talk
does a
about
good
Jerry Seinfeld,
Norm
though, by
Macdonald.
default, you become Jerry Seinfeld.
What is
Yeah.
with them? Yeah.
yeah,
He
yeah.
does
like-
a good
so you be-
Norm
be
Macdonald.
Kramer.
Though.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
maybe so. I don't know. Yeah,
Pretty good.
mountain. Sit on a beach.
Yeah.
or climb a mountain.
I don't think I've never climbed. I don't think I know I've never climbed a mountain, but I would like to try that. Like I would say, whether I've done it or not, climb a mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you gotta work to appreciate that, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
100%.
Beach you just
very
sit
much.
there.
Yeah. Gritty
Hmm.
or how do you pronounce that?
Boy.
Boy from the
Kraken,
Kraken.
Kraken mascot or the Flyers mascot?
Gritty's a good friend of mine.
iPhone?
Bowie's too new. Bowie. He's too new. He's too
Bowie?
new.
He's too
Bowie,
new. So
like
Gritty
like
is
a
the
floating
official
buoy.
answer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
if,
Gritty.
if anyone, by the way, hasn't seen Gritty in action, you need to.
Yeah,
Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Okay.
Correct answer.
Winnipeg Arena, the old Winnipeg Arena, or the old Winnipeg Stadium?
So basically,
old-
favorite old Winnipeg venues.
The old Winnipeg Stadium.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. The new stadium now is a bowl, so you get very minimal wind. As from a Mascot perspective, that whole south end by the arena was all open.
Yeah.
So if there was a nice evening with a south wind,
was
you'd
cool.
feel great. You could work all night in
Yeah.
the sweat. You wouldn't even be sweating. It'd be just so nice.
Yeah.
Do you have air
Right.
conditioning in that?
No,
I heard
No
stories-
no air conditioning, no
I heard
cold water.
Those costumes had AC in there.
No, sometimes they have a fan, but what you'd have to consider is that with the fan you need battery, and battery adds more weight,
Right.
Yeah.
and you get this humming sensation. And if people tell me that I'm banging the drum too loud, I want to be able to hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it is really hot in there.
It gets very hot in there.
And no cold packs.
No cold. After 30 seconds, it's just water.
And wait again.
More weight. Yeah,
What's the average amount of weight you would lose in a game?
between 7 to 8 pounds
Right.
floating.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, for a parade, I would lose like 10. But for some, there were the one in Gimli because it's super long and super hot in August. I would wear a water pack.
Right.
So I can hydrate. And
So
so
the-
tube
the-
come
the-
out my neck to drink water because you can your body goes through a lot of damage.
Well, that's 7-8 pounds. Like you're really pushing it, right?
And well, again, you're not just walking around.
Yeah.
You are entertaining a crowd.
Yeah.
Specifically the one in Gimli, we would always have our Jets truck there, but we would play music. But there's a Zumba group that would Zumba. So I would join them because their music's super loud and they're dancing, and I would Zumba like 5K.
And
in
if you've ever,
costume.
and not everyone's familiar with Zumba, but you move.
You move, right?
Quite
and
a
I'm
bit.
jumping on and off the truck and
Yeah.
trying to be visible for the people in the back. And
You're looking at your Fitbit and you're
Yeah.
I was just
playoffs, I'm doing like 25,000 steps.
Wow.
25. I just did a 8-mile hike and it wasn't that many steps.
Yeah, 25.
But 20,000 steps are banging a drum,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Those are 25.
No, because you're doing like the block party,
Yeah.
right? And then you go in, and then you're doing the corporate events
So
because
you
there's-
probably loved the block party when it was cold out
yeah.
because you got to
Yeah.
cool off out
Yeah.
there.
The fun. Are we still playing? the this or that?
We're done.
We're done.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
so you asked me about more questions or more story that
Yeah.
resonates. So talking about the block party, when we were playing Nashville and I think we were down like 2-1, and the block party's going on outside. I'm inside, and that whole Donald Street is all glass wall.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'm walking around. We had just scored the tying goal, and the crowd's going crazy. And I just happen to be standing right there. So I go out with the drum and I start banging the drum. Now the crowd's on outside's going crazy, crowd inside's going crazy. And I go down to one of the sections. We happen to score another goal, 3-2. Now the place is just erupting. And I walk over to the glass again because I'm thinking about going back out. And there's like half drinking beer cups on the ledge.
Yeah.
And you remember that scene from Jurassic Park where
With the
it-
drop,
the- like,
drops.
like the base is making the drink like
Yeah.
ripple.
Yeah.
They're all doing that, and I can see the glass is doing like a ripple effect. So I put my hand against the glass, so the noise from the outside
Yeah.
and the noise from the inside was making the glass vibrate.
Yeah.
So I put my hand on it, and you could feel the glass just shaking.
You just
Oh,
feel the
wow.
energy.
And that's when I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still got goosebumps.
That's
I
crazy.
actually just
Ryan
got
will tell you
goosebumps
that same
right
story.
now.
Ryan, yeah,
That
it's energy.
that series was unreal, right?
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
fact that they went all the way to the Western Conference.
Was it one of the road games? No, it was
It was
at
a home game.
That
It
was
was a
And
home game.
that's the series where the home team didn't really win a lot of games, right?
Right.
I'm not sure if that would have been a game we won in the end or lost.
We won that game,
Right.
but because we lost the next two, and I think then we won the game 7, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in
In
Nashville.
In
I think
Nashville,
it was
yeah.
kind of like they would
Yeah.
win, then we
We would bounce back and forth,
alternate,
right?
right? So I have 2 questions that I always ask after this or that.
But before you ask those, I got another question.
Shoot.
Shoot,
Okay.
yeah.
So you're saying like the interaction with your mascot that was like an aggressive interaction. What's the most heartwarming interaction you've ever had as a mascot?
It's the same thing every year, but it's a different group of kids. It's the like the cancer care, the Hockey Fights Cancer.
Yeah.
So I get a chance to meet the kids that get presented on the ice beforehand.
Okay.
That's always hard.
Yeah.
That's always hard. And doing the children's hospital visits, which
They get to you.
they get to you.
Yeah.
Like they tear you down a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
right? So as much as like full on, I've been bawling my eyes out in costume
Yeah.
many times. No one knows whether it's emotional because of the game itself, Rick Rippin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Anything Project 11, when I still see Zinger getting emotional, I get
Yeah.
emotional. I knew Rick,
Yeah.
right? I knew Rick for a number of years. We'd go out together. Yeah, it's anything around kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Who would you say you're closest to on the Jets?
I'm not really close to anybody. I separate where other teams, like, they keep me completely separate from the players themselves. We cross paths. I just knew like guys like Corey,
Back in the
just
day with the
because that was
Moose.
Moose, right? It was a different vibe. Now they're their status,
Yeah.
right? So I've done events with Nick Ehlers and Patrick Laine.
Yeah.
Josh Morrissey, probably one of the most stand-up guys from my experience.
Cool.
We were doing ticket season drop-offs, and he was literally on a phone interviewing charities to see who he wanted to partner with.
Yeah.
Not them calling him, he was reaching out to them. And
Yeah,
guys
you would
from
probably only know those players outside
outside of the
games.
games, yeah. right.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
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 Who's your favorite player interaction that you've ever had other than the Mark Messier one?
Sidney Crosby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't get, clearly with Eric Clapton, I don't get caught in the limelight, right?
Yeah.
And the
Well,
celebrity shock.
You didn't know who he
yeah.
was.
I don't get a lot of celebrity
He
shock,
saw
but
a lot of celebrities that he didn't even know you
yeah.
see.
Well,
Based on his stories.
Avril Lavigne put the head on once, and her hair smelled for like an hour.
Oh, jeez.
So
It is
Um,
the smelliest mascot costume in Winnipeg.
yes,
Yeah.
totally hardest working.
How
though.
did you
Hardest
know her
working.
hair smelled for an hour?
Because she told me, like, well,
Afterwards,
we hung
I
out.
put
We
the
hung
thing
out.
on, I
we
hair
hung out.
smelled for
Yeah,
like an
this is when
hour.
this is years ago. This is back 2012, right? So her tour bus was
when she
downstairs
single
still. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so was Mark.
Wait,
nothing happened.
Did you take her up to the rafters?
No, she was not the date. I'd love to say that she was a date.
Because that's maybe the one that didn't work out.
No.
No,
Yeah.
she was only in for the night.
How do I compete with Nickelback, right?
Right, she's with that Nickelback guy.
After it didn't work out on the
Yeah.
rafters.
I set them up. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. What was I saying again? Oh yeah, so I don't have a lot. This is me managing my ADHD. So I don't get a lot of celebrity shock, but when Sidney Crosby scored the gold medal gold medal game winning goal
Yep.
in Salt Lake, like that was like, to me, like that's a leader. That's a guy
Yeah.
who goes out there and gets it done. So I always said if I was ever to get celebrity shock, it would probably be with him.
Yeah.
Now I was at work. I worked for a print copier division for a company in Winnipeg, and I figured I'd print off like a really nice two pictures of Sidney Crosby. I found some stock images that I don't ask anybody for autographs, but if I were to get one, it would probably be him.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
that day, Pittsburgh's in town. I know that he walks the arena. I'm like, I don't want to be that guy, and I don't want to be that fan.
Yeah.
Right. So I brought them with me. I had them in my briefcase, and I'm thinking, I'm never going to catch Sidney. He's surrounded by too many people. I don't know him.
Yeah.
And I don't know what type of person he is, if he's going to take time to do this. But it was after the game. We lost 4-2. He scored 2 goals. And I just walked outside my dressing room. And at the time, it was right down the hall from the visitors' dressing room. And as I walked out, Sidney Crosby standing there by himself. Like, I don't know how to handle myself. So there's a moment of awkwardness. And I go, hey, he goes, hey, how are you? And he saw me with the head off earlier, razzing them, right? Giving them a hard time. He's like, how was your night? I'm like, yeah, it was good. How was your night? Good. I said, those were a couple nice goals that you had tonight. He goes, thanks. I appreciate that. I go, would it be too uncomfortable for me to ask you for a couple quick autographs? And he goes, no, absolutely not. What do you got? So I whip out these 2 pictures. He signs them. He has a Sharpie, not me.
Yeah.
He signs them. I didn't even have to take mine out. Gives them to me. We said hi, like say goodbye, and we'll see you around. Then his reps are all waving him over, and his team and his coaches and everybody for interviews, post-game interviews. And I went on my way, and I have one at home still framed, and I gave the other one to my nephew, my brother.
Oh, wow.
So we have those 2 photos.
That's cool.
And like the coolest interaction. So now when we see each other, it's like, hey, how's it going?
Now
It's
you
just
know.
it's
It's just Sid.
informal, right?
It's just Sid now.
Now when you
Just
go out for
Sid, yeah.
beers,
yeah. We're
Just
gonna
hang
go for Tim's.
with your buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, him
Drink
and
your black
McKinnon
coffee.
are going over Tim's later.
Yeah,
and-
black. Take the coffee black. Yeah.
I actually met Sidney Crosby before he was, while he was a junior, and you would have worked the game.
Mhm.
So he was at the
Were you
Moose game.
15?
No,
Oh.
it was when the World Juniors was going to be in Grand Forks.
Okay, yeah.
They played a World Juniors exhibition game.
Exhibition game, yeah.
Winnipeg,
Yeah,
Winnipeg.
yeah.
But the night before the exhibition game, they came to the Jets game.
Yeah.
Or the Moose game.
Moose game, yeah.
And they sat 2 rows behind me.
Okay.
All the players. So that was Phaneuf. That was Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
That was like the team
Mhm.
back in the day, right?
Mhm.
And he was a kid.
Yeah.
He was 16 years old at that time.
Yeah.
Right? And like, who's to know that he was going to become, like, yes, everybody said he was, but everybody said that about like Taylor Hall
Yeah.
and Jordan Everly. Like, you know what I mean? They became good players, but
Right.
the greatest players,
Yeah.
right? It'd be like my son meeting McDavid
Right.
5 years ago or whatever, right? So, yeah, very cool to have that story for yourself. Because
Yeah.
now, like you said, you could just call him Sid.
Yeah. So when we're in Florida and we're walking out of the arena, Sidney Crosby's on his phone. He's texting. He's texting his wife at the time, and we're walking by, and she's like, "Is that Sidney Crosby?" I'm like, "Sid." He's like, "Hey." I'm like, "Hey." She goes, "You just said hi to Sidney Crosby." I'm like,
It's just
"No big
just
deal."
another day at
Just
work.
yeah.
This is my buddy. What's going on?
Yeah.
So
He totally didn't remember who I was.
Yeah.
one of the things I also noticed about you and your family are very involved in the community,
Yes.
and you love. It seems like you love being a Manitoban.
Yeah, I do.
So you tell me, what are your 3 favorite places to go in Manitoba, either for a date, hang out with the guys, go with your kids, your top 3 places?
Top 3 places. Um, well, if it's with my girlfriend, we live in St. Anne, so our hotspots in Steinbach, we go to like Smitty's or Boston Pizza. Like it doesn't matter where we go. I love hanging out with her.
Yeah.
Right. Doesn't matter where. In retirement phase now from the Jets, I have all this time on weekends. Is that we made the goal was to buy a boat, so we did. We bought a large pontoon boat, brand new from Ron's Marine. Give a little
Okay.
shout out to those guys. They took care of us, amazing service and
New
everything.
sponsor.
Yeah, new sponsor. Reach out, talk to Tyler.
That's
And-
Ron.
Yeah, Ron's
Ron.
RONDS.
Ron,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Tyler
we
Tyler
lost
runs the show.
sponsorship already.
No. Tyler will help you. So we've been going to. We have it slipped at Pinawa, so we go there. Like that's my getaway now.
Yeah.
Every weekend we go fishing.
Pinawa's
tubing.
fantastic.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Other than that, being at the hockey rink,
Yeah.
like coaching, being on the ice with kids, teaching kids how to play, which it's super fun. Right now, my girlfriend and I talking about being in the community. We saw that there was a bit of a gap in dryland training for kids, and they're on their phones or on video games throughout the summer. So every Thursday, tomorrow, as our last one, we run a dryland session in town.
Okay.
So in St. Anne, so we have kids come in, partake, and we just do an hour of dryland hockey sessions for kids that just want
That's why
to
my
be
son
involved.
can't beat the St. Anne's teams.
He's not doing enough dry land.
He's not doing any
It's
dry
all,
land.
it's all work. You got to put the work in, right? So
Yeah.
Talk to the coach.
Yeah.
Do more dry land.
We get a new coach every year, so
Do
we'll
you?
see. Yeah. So like it's all depends on who's the parents on the
Yeah.
team, right? So
yeah.
If I could ask you one person, dead or alive, that if you could spend 20 minutes having a conversation, anybody,
Again, like sorry,
who would it be?
it would be
Anybody.
It'd be my mom. She passed away a number of years ago, so just to tell her what's happened since then,
yeah.
that's probably it.
Yeah. That's an awesome answer.
Yeah,
There's probably lots to talk
lots to
about.
digest and
Yeah.
and unpack there. Yeah,
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
yeah.
This is the last question,
Okay,
and then you're off the hook. Any
Okay.
stories after this will be off the record.
okay.
No, we're just
Part
no.
2. Are we doing part 2? I'll come back if you
We can
guys
do
want.
part two.
I got more. I've been
That's
keeping
my
this.
biggest concern is that we're gonna end
No.
and he's gonna have 8
I'm not.
great stories.
No, I'm gonna write it all down and I'll
But
keep.
the type,
This is the
He's gotta take his kid to
PG-13.
get School supplies. He
Yeah.
can't be here all night.
I know
Tim.
this is the
Well,
PG-13
Walmart's
session,
open
so we
till-
could do the adults
Walmart's
after
open
hours.
till 11, I think.
Yeah, kids got to be in bed by 9:30.
All right,
Back
fair
to
enough.
school hour
Yeah,
routine.
that's
Ask-
12-year-old.
Ask your question.
Yeah. What's the question?
So if you were to, well, you've just been grooming somebody as a mascot recently, like
Mhm.
somebody who's been shadowing you,
Mhm.
but somebody who's, say, Tim's daughter wants to become a mascot
Yeah.
as a part-time thing. What is one piece of advice you would give to that person that's becoming a mascot?
Make it your own. Make your own character. Have fun. Give it a little piece of yourself because you're your own special person.
Yeah.
Let that come through. Just have fun.
Yeah.
Just like do everything in that character that you would be reserved to do on your own. That's when your true self comes out. When you have that cape on. You have the cape on, you're invincible.
Yeah.
So put the cape on and just have fun with it.
Awesome answer.
That's awesome.
Is it? I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, I think that's fantastic. When people put on a mask, they can generally do stuff that they're too scared to do without it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's probably you were probably more reserved when you put it on the first time than you were
Totally.
when you put it on the last time.
Well, and even now, like the other thing he said was after 17 years, even though he's more himself, he's still nervous.
Yeah.
Be humble.
For every single
Be humble.
game.
Yeah.
And I was told one time being nervous is just a sign that you care.
There's it's funny, there's Olympic so going into kinesiology, you take sports psychology. And one of the things that they talk about is taking nervous energy and converting it into excitement. Because being nervous and being excited is still the same feeling. It just matter what you label it.
Yep.
So before games, I'd be nervous, but I just tell myself, I'm just excited to be here.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to get it done. I'm
It
excited
matters
to
to you.
put on a show. And that's if you're humble and you're nervous, it's a good thing. It means you care.
Yeah.
Right. My girlfriend tells me all the time, I go, I still get nervous. She goes, it's because you care every single time you put it on. Anytime I do something, I label myself a professional. If I'm in the gym, I'm not a professional bodybuilder. I'm not a professional fitness instructor. But when I'm there, I'm a pro in my own mind.
Yeah.
When I'm at work in a leadership role or a sales leadership role or development, operational, I'm a professional in my role. Same thing in a costume, right? People say it's like a glorified clown. Sure, we'll call it whatever you want. I have fun doing it and they take it seriously, and I'm a pro in whatever I do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to leave it. That's
Well,
awesome
one last thing. Have you
Sure.
talked to Scott Arneal since that situation happened?
No. Have I not? No,
No?
we haven't. No.
Oh.
But I do have. I get it. If you guys want part 2, I got more.
I think it would have been hilarious if on his last game he just burst through the locker room like the first game.
Everyone kept saying, "Just go to center ice and take your head off." If we win the game, because I would go on the ice when we win games
And you would
and
have
high five.
Yeah.
I would high five the 3 stars. Just take the head off and just boot it. I never did that. I'm too much of a professional.
And then you'll get
Yeah.
Mark Dolphin.
meatloaf.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, thanks for watching the show. It's awesome having you here, Mark. We truly appreciate
Fantastic,
this.
yes.
Thanks for having me.
This was a
is
great
super fun.
conversation. Don't forget to hit the like, the subscribe, the button. The button that Tim likes is the comment button. It's not above us; it's below us, Tim. And hit the comment button. Comment on what you think, and tell us what your favorite Mickey Mouse memory was, because there's so many. My kids, I'm going to show some of my kids these pictures and tell them, like, this is the person that you saw every single time.
Yeah.
So this is awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Thanks
Mark.
for being here.
Yeah, and apologies if it wasn't for you over the 17 years. I just did my best.
The drum wasn't yours.
He was told to bang the drum.
Yes, I was
people.
told to bang
he
the
was
drum.
told to.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Sharing is caring.